Welcome to the Ladies Cave. I'm your girl, Chi Collins. Today is Thursday, May 5th, 2016. Happy Cinco de Mayo. So I wanted to, of course, go around the NFL today and talk about some stories that are surfacing and certainly get your reaction. Feel free to, as always, tweet me your comments, questions, and suggestions at _Ladies Cave. Certainly follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, The Ladies Cave, and of course subscribe to the YouTube channel because every day we're going to be posting videos going around the NFL to bring you up to date on all the news and all the happenings going on. So let's start today off with Sam Bradford. I know I said about 2 weeks ago in a podcast that I felt bad for Sam. Excuse me, my voice is cracking. I'm going to just drink some water here out of my lovely Cowboys cup. But anyway, I felt sorry for Sam Bradford because I felt as though here's a guy who just wants an opportunity to be a guaranteed starter. I kind of felt his pain, and then I guess I had a little bit of a dose of reality, if that's really what you want to call it. And that dose of reality was simply that, Sam Bradford, I need you to get over being spoiled. I need you to get over the fact that there is spilled milk on the floor. Put on your big boy Fruit of the Looms and get out there and play this season for the Philadelphia Eagles. You see, Sam Bradford, at $35 million, you're getting paid a whole lot more than you could ever be worth right now. Take 2016 as an opportunity to refine or hone in on your skills. Be a success in 2016. Rack up those numbers and build up those stats so that in 2017 you will be in a position to be able to make demands of wanting to be traded. I don't know that you'll see much competition from Carson Wentz, but I actually think it's a shame that here is a young kid looking for the same opportunities that you looked for when you were drafted and just wants to be accepted, just wants to be, one of the boys and get in there and learn and do everything that he is supposed to do. And Sam, this is your opportunity to be that big brother, to be that veteran quarterback, and help him out along the way. If for nothing else, Sam, the situation really doesn't hurt you, but it helps you. It gives you one opportunity to shine in this league. The problem with thinking that you have shined in the past is that you really haven't. Let's just be realistic. And I know that some people don't like to be realistic for whatever reason. I don't know. But I think in this situation, Sam Bradford, you have to be realistic. You have to look at this from the standpoint that you're not as great as you believe that you are. That's it in a nutshell. This is truly your opportunity to come away with looking like a huge success, looking like you're actually getting paid your worth, when actually what you're doing financially is robbing the Philadelphia Eagles of their money. We know that you're not worth it right now, but prove us wrong, Sam Bradford. Prove us wrong this season. Get on the phone and call your new coach, Peterson, and say, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to man up to my mistakes. I'm going to man up to being spoiled and being a brat. And I'm going to come out there and I'm going to give you 110% of me in 2016 because I want to earn my right to be in this position. One of the problems with the NFL is we think that, or oftentimes players think that because they've signed this lucrative contract, that things are owed to them, that they have earned the right in the positions that they have. Well, at the end of the day, you really haven't, Sam. Unfortunately, the Eagles were just, maybe blindsided by the fact that they needed to secure you and bring you back as opposed to allowing you to enter the free agency market. I personally would have allowed you to enter the free agency market because I don't believe that there was anything out there that would, or any team out there that would take you. That's just my point of view. But Sam Bradford, Continuing to act the way that you are acting is truly only making matters worse for you. It's not a comfortable position for your teammates to be in. Certainly not a comfortable position for the fans to be in and the organization. But you created this mountain out of a molehill that you truly did not have to create. Your payback to the Philadelphia Eagles would be to get out there, silence your naysayers and your doubters. Silence me. Hey, won't be the first time. But get out there and prove that you can be a starting quarterback in this league. And not just by chance, but simply on the merit that you're a good player. Simply on the merit that you can do the things that you need to do to be a leader both on and off the field. Take this moment, Sam Bradford, because unfortunately, there aren't any options out around the league for you right now. I know your agent's probably filling your head with a bunch of malarkey and BS. But the truth of the matter is, Sam Bradford, there's nowhere you can go. This is it. Because there's other quarterbacks who are like you in this same position. The only difference between you and them is that you have a contract. You have been given an opportunity that you don't want. These other players haven't been given an opportunity. And so their hunger and their desire is much stronger than yours. And who doesn't want a quarterback, a leader on their team who is strong, who is hungry and passionate for more? Who wants more? Who desires more? But who's going to go about it the right way? You might want to check yourself, Sam Bradford, because I just don't know that this is going to work out for you. Obviously, in the past month that you have made this publicly known that you are requesting a trade, it hasn't worked out. Let me know how it works out for you, Sam, because it's not going anywhere for you. So, enough about the spoiled brats of the NFL. Let's talk about Von Miller. I've said this time and time again, and I know he plays for the Denver Broncos, but I am a huge fan of Von Miller. I just love his personality. I love his spirit, and I love the fact that despite all odds, he's just remained a clean-cut athlete. I certainly think that his appearance on Dancing with the Stars has increased his stock. For those who didn't know him, I'll say that. For those who didn't know him, it increased his stock. It also gave him an opportunity to continue to work out and to hone in on his physical strength and abilities this off season. But I want to, once again, I'm a realist. I know. And I know sometimes people just can't handle real. But if I wasn't real, then I wouldn't be true to myself. Reports have said that when Von Miller has been asked if he is worried about not having signed a contract with the Denver Broncos yet after signing the franchise tag, is he worried? And of course, that question's being asked because of what happened to Josh Norman and the Carolina Panthers. Rightfully so. It is a legitimate question in this day and age, especially since what happened this offseason with Josh. But Von Miller says he's not worried. And while I tip my proverbial hat to you, Von, I think it's very big of you not to be worried. But I can't imagine that there isn't just a thought, a glimmer of a little apprehension. I don't know where talks stand. It seems as though talks are continuing. And oftentimes it's just that one little contract term that you have to get over in order for this to be a done deal. Reports have not talked about exactly where you are or where Von Miller is in the deal. But I really do hope that this comes to fruition for him. I think that he is a great asset to the team on a long-term basis. I think that he brings a new perspective and a new even appreciation for the position that he plays in this league. And I would love to see him continue to grow and develop. And I would love to see him continue to be on the platform that he is. I think there's a lot of talent left in Von Miller. And so I certainly hope that the Denver Broncos do what they need to do. I hope that he has the right agent in charge to be able to get him the contract that he is desiring and that he ultimately deserves. But I just have to say something in me is worried that this could take a turn, and I certainly hope not. So Denver Bronco fans, please don't tweet me out of anger. Like I'm just being realistic, and sometimes I say things that other people just won't say for fear of backlash. But hey, that's what I'm here for. So, but I want you to consciously think about this, because I would love to see you remain where you are. But, you just worry, because Denver Broncos have until June 15th to get this deal done with you, inked and signed, and getting you into camp. So let's hope that that's going to happen for you sooner than later. So the draft is over now, and like many of you, I sat here on bated breath, wondering not only what my team was going to do, but what every team was going to do. And so I've been asked about issuing draft grades. And I'll tell you this, I don't do them. The reason being is because it's very tough to grade a draft just simply off of a person that you picked at a particular position or place in the draft. I think what ultimately wins out the draft grades, just like the mock draft, is to actually see these players in action. How do you gel with your new team and your new and your fellow players? How do you work in the scheme of things when it comes to that team? Is it a 4-3 defense and you're used to a 3-4? Is this a West Coast offense? Is this a running offense? What other players were acquired that could either hinder or help your success in this league? So there's a lot of things, and I just don't put stock into it, because I've got to wait for the season to begin. I got to see what you can put out on the field, because oftentimes a level of play at college is certainly not the same level of play in the NFL. So I just don't know how you can judge that. Very much like mock drafts, it's just our guess. It's what we hope for. It's what we think will happen. Some of us lucked out, as in gambling or playing the Powerball. You won, or you were able to select, 25 out of the 31 first round picks. Great for you, but it was all guessing, because as I said before, no one knew what was happening in each individual team's war room. Unless you were there, you certainly couldn't make the call honestly feeling overly confident in what you have selected. So when it comes to grading, I just stay away from it. I'd rather critique players as the season progresses, as I'm seeing them in their particular styles of offense or defense, and in their new environments. We have to keep in mind that when these kids are in college, they're living together, they're eating together, they're doing almost everything together. Now is an opportunity for a new NFL draftee to now live on your own, to now be more responsible, to be able to adapt to a new environment, new coaching staff, new city, new location, new rules, new regulations. So there's a lot there that I think has to be factored in. I just don't know that right now is the right time to give draft grades. And so, unfortunately, to JR5773 on Twitter, I'm just not going to enter into draft grades. Just not going to do it. I'm sorry. But that's just my policy, and that's how I've always been. Let's move on finally to Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed was announced today that he just signed a 5-year, $50 million deal with the Washington Redskins. They were able to retain him and get his contract done. That's a lot of money to pay a tight end. And I'm not saying that Jordan Reed isn't worth it, because last year was a record-breaking year for him in terms of being a tight end for the Washington Redskins. But then you have to think about, where does this leave a DeSean Jackson and a Pierre Garcon, who are now entering the final year of their contract? When you shell out $50 million for a player, And once again, don't angry tweet me, because I'm not saying that Jordan Reed is not worth the $50 million contract. I'm simply saying this begins to set a precedence for the remaining players who need to then be analyzed as to whether they're contract worthy come next year. And if you don't believe that the conversation, and I'm chuckling inside because my mother used to always say, don't compare yourself to your brother or what have you. But you have to in this situation. You have to say, well, you gave Jordan Reed $50 million. Am I not worth more? I've got the stats to prove it. I've done this, I've done that, whatever it is. But you have a legitimate case. It's just about the money and whether the cap space is there to make this happen for you, and whether this will happen for you. And so DeSean Jackson and Pierre Garcon will be entering their final years of the contract. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Doesn't seem like the Redskins, and most teams don't subscribe to this, getting your contract done in the middle of the year. They certainly want to be able to evaluate a full year's worth of performance and make a sound decision as to salary and offerings. And I totally understand that, and I think it's respectable. But you do have to take a look at a DeSean Jackson and a Pierre Garcon and say, what does the future hold for you in the organization? Neither one of them are getting any younger, and although they are great at what they do, is it $50 million great? Was Jordan Reed $50 million great? I don't know. Only time will tell. I think it's a lot of money in this particular situation. And so I think it'll just, as I said, be interesting to see what happens, what comes of this. And then I'm sure we'll see how the fallout, I'll call it the fallout, not to sound negative, but we'll see what the fallout is of this. For every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction. Always remember that, because sometimes I think even just in daily life, we certainly forget that. I also want to just briefly, express concern for my Dallas Cowboys. I have a love-hate relationship with Jerry Jones. I love him, and then sometimes I don't. And there's times where I absolutely wish that Jerry Jones would be just a silent partner. I think it is now time for him to hand off complete control to his son Steven. And certainly Jerry has the right, as always, to be in the shadows. But I just feel like in order for us as a team, the Dallas Cowboys, to be able to move to that next level, to be able to build after having such a phenomenal draft class, I think it's time to let the reins go. I think you have to give this to Steven right now, because if you don't begin to let go of some of the responsibilities that you have been holding on to, the transition is only going to get harder. Oftentimes, even in, let's just say, corporate America situations, when you have multiple bosses, you don't know who to report to. And while I understand that Jerry is the financial voice behind the Dallas Cowboys right now, and being an owner / GM, I just think you've got to let some of it go. I'm actually begging you, Jerry Jones, please just let some of the reins go. Give Steven an opportunity to do what you have coached him up to do. You certainly felt comfortable giving him the title that he currently has as assistant GM. And I don't know that anyone disagrees with that. But at some point, in order to rebuild on the dynasty that the Cowboys have, you've got to be willing to let go of the day-to-day operational things. And while I certainly have the utmost respect for you as an NFL owner, and can certainly as a fan say that I truly appreciate all that you've done for the team, for the organization, and even the city, I just think you've got to let go. This is that time. Now that you have built what I guess is being called here in the Metroplex as the second coming of the triplets, now that you've got Romo and Ezekiel Elliott and of course Des Bryant, I would just love to see that opportunity flourish under Stephen Jones. And so there you have it today, Ladies Cave. Thank you for tuning in. We will certainly be back tomorrow with news around the NFL. And if there's anything that you would like to hear me talk about or give my thoughts on, please feel free to tweet us at _Ladies Cave. And certainly leave your comments on our website, which is theladiescave.net. Spread the word about the Ladies Cave and be sure to click on that red subscribe button so that you'll be updated and notified every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care.